You mentioned you lost your father-in-law last week. Uh, do you think about mortality? Do you think about your own mortality? Are you afraid of death?
I don't think about my own mortality that much, which is probably a good thing. I think death will be bad. I wouldn't say I'm afraid of it. For me, the worst thing about death is not knowing how the human story turns out,
The full human
the
story.
full human
Not,
story. So if I could, right before I die, read like a Wikipedia page called The Rest of Human History and have enough time, just like a few days to absorb it, think about it, and know, like, oh, well, 643 years from now, that's when all the atomic weapons went off. And here's what happened between now and then.
Mhm.
I would feel much better dying. But
It's,
that's
it,
not how it's
it,
going to be, right?
it's
That's
it's
unlikely.
it's almost like the Hitchhiker's Guide. They kind of have, what is it? They have a one or two sentence description of the human, of what goes on Earth. It's kind of interesting to think if there's a lot of intelligent civilizations out there that in the big encyclopedia that describes the universe, humans will only have one sentence, maybe
Probably
two.
true. But
Yeah.
it's the only one I can read and understand, right? And it may be hard to understand the human one past a number of centuries
Yeah,
because of
with AI,
technology. Yeah.
yes. Uh,
Like how many years from now will reading Wikipedia be like trying to read Chaucer, which I almost can do, but I actually can't. I need a translation. Probably you
yeah,
can't do it at all.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, maybe reading will be outdated. It might be a very silly notion. Maybe we're fundamentally, like, we think language is fundamental to cognition, but it could be something visual or to something totally different that
exactly.
we'll plug in.
Neuralink or, yeah.
But in that story, that Wikipedia article, do you think there'll be a section on the meaning of it?
I hope not, because
Did-
that section we could write now, and it's just not going to be very good, right?
what would you put in the section on the meaning of human existence?
I don't know, links to a lot of other sections.
I,
I don't think there are general statements about the meaning of life that have that much meaning. I think if you study different cultures, the arts, travel, mathematics, like whatever your thing is,
yeah,
you'll get a lot about the meaning of life. So, like, it's there in Wikipedia in some bigger sense.
yeah.
But I don't want to read the page on the meaning. I bet they have such a page, in fact. The fact that I've never visited it, none of my friends, oh, here, Tyler, here's the page on the meaning of life. I know you've been wondering about this. You got to read this one. No
Yeah.
one's ever done that to you, have they?
It probably has, well, actually gone to that page. It does, in fact, have a lot of links to other
Okay.
pages. uh, so that's it. The meaning of life is just a bunch of self-referential or citation needed type of statements. I think there's no better way to end it. Tyler, this is a huge honor. I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much for wasting all of this time with me. It was one of the greatest conversations I've ever had. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, and delighted to finally have met you and that we can do this.